Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Raphael Assuncao versus Davey Grant. These are two of my favorite bantamweights of all time, really, I guess. But Assuncao, look, he's a guy who is 40 years old now. He's been finished a few times in his last few fights. But, man, that Victor Henry fight opened my eyes. That was a slap in the face. He looked awesome in that fight. Really awesome. Really stifled Victor Henry and did it for 15 minutes straight. It was a vintage Assuncao performance. And Assuncao is a guy who, if you don't know, he's had one of the best low-profile careers or under-the-radar careers ever. Maybe he's one of those guys who hovered around the top 5 even for a while, top 10 for years and years and years. He's beaten champions, never while they were holding the belt, but still solid victories over TJ Dillashaw, Aljamain Sterling, Marlon Moraes, whoever the fuck else. He's an excellent fighter. But he's 40 years old now. He's turned 40. He's been knocked out to Ricky Simone and Cody Garbrandt recently, as well as Eric Koch way back when. And he's definitely fallen apart physically. Despite how he looked in the Victor Henry fight, I do think if he's met with, a good amount of power on his chin, he will go down much more easily than he would have a few years ago. And Davey Grant might have that knack. Davey Grant is not a knockout artist on paper, but he's definitely got knockout power. He's got really good hands, Davey Grant. This is an interesting fight because I do think a few years ago, I would have been very sure Assuncao won. And I would have been sprinkling a lot of money on his submission props, to be honest, because that's the primary way Davey Grant's lost. He's lost 6 times, four submissions, 2 decisions. Assuncao is a very skilled submission artist, and he could definitely plug that hole, but he's got to be able to create opportunities for himself, and I don't think those opportunities are going to be readily available here. I think Davey Grant is going to be able to maybe not keep this fight on the feet the whole time. I'm sure Assuncao will get in, shit will happen, but I trust Davey Grant in general to stay away from the grappling. And on the feet, he's still not totally out of it, Davey Grant. Assuncao could win this fight. That Victor Henry fight, again, it was a slap in the face. Assuncao is one of the best neutralizers ever on the feet. But Davey Grant is fucking weird on his feet. He's weird. He throws weird looping hooks. The kind of shit that could knock out Jonathan Martinez. And I do think he's going to be able to find his range, find his angles, those weird angles. And I think he's going to be able to shut the lights out on Assuncao. Davey Grant is not a guy who's going to be Mr. Low Output, sit on the outside and wait to eat some kicks from Assuncao. He's going to be throwing down Davey Grant. And, that fight with Andre Yanez, the hell's his name again? Adrian Yanez, Marlon Vera. He's had a lot of real dog fights lately, Davey Grant, and he's a fucking pure savage. And I expect this fight to be not that much. I don't expect it to be a dog fight. That's the last thing I'd expect. But I expect it to be a fight where he doesn't let Assuncao neutralize him. He's too weird. He's too unorthodox for Assuncao's, basic attacks and his basic counters to work. And I think Davey Grant is going to shut his lights out at some point in this fight. So Davey Grant by knockout is the pick. You could get that at plus, or probably even like plus 300, but I've played the finish line at plus 200. I think that's his primary path to victory. Of course, he could win a decision against Assuncao, but I actually think if it went to the scorecards, the way Assuncao is, the ultimate neutralizer, there might even be some value on him at plus 190. But staying away from it, I'm going with Davey Grant. And, hopefully if Assuncao does get knocked out, hopefully he knows he has all the fans' respect and he just rides off into the sunset. But I'm really looking for Davey Grant here. There's a little more upside with him. He's got more of a future, if I can talk that way, about a season 18 Ultimate Fighter contestant. But Davey Grant by knockout. Like, share, subscribe, all that horseshit. Check out my other videos.